So again, as I talked about, we're going to solve these problems, and they're not quadratic, but we're going to solve them treating them like they're quadratic. So there's our state standard and our learning objective today, exactly as I said. So let's talk about this real quick. If the degree of the middle term is half the degree of the first term, and we're not going to do I'm not going to do the U substitution. I have actually earlier this year showed you the U substitution. Now we're going to go straight to it. If the middle term's half of the first term, we can factor it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we look up here. See, here's my leading term, p to the fourth, right? See how p squared, isn't p squared half of p to the fourth? Now this equation's not quadratic, but I'm gonna factor it like it's quadratic. So I'm gonna look and see, will this, excuse me here, I went to the wrong page. Will this trinomial factor into two binomials? Y'all follow me? So let's see what this is, be p squared right there. And then I'm just looking right up here, I'm looking at where are my factors of 36, where my outer and my inner are going to add up to be -5. Ryan, what are you thinking?
-9 and +4.
Yeah, -9 and +4. That works, doesn't it? Because isn't it 4p squared minus 9p squared negative 5p squared? Okay, we're good there. And then we're just going to set each of these factors equal to 0. So p squared minus 9 equal to 0. And p squared plus 4 equal to 0, right? So here on the left, I think we can do some mental math in our head. Wouldn't we just add 9, take the square root, and we would say what? P is equal to plus or minus 3. Agree? Look, I bet we can do this in our head too. If I have p squared plus 4, George, what's p? I saw your hand go up. Were you just stretching? Okay, that's fine. Still answer the question. So if I have p squared plus 4 equals 0, what would p equal? If you got to do it in your head, do it. Huh?
2i.
Plus or minus 2i. So that'd be what? P equals plus or minus 2i. I'm not going to do all that work. We should be recognizing now that if I have 2i as a 0, isn't its factor p squared plus 4? So there are my 4 solutions. We good? Questions? So again, so look at this. Isn't x raised to the 1/3, isn't that half of x raised to the 2/3? So even though this problem is not quadratic, I'm going to look and see, if I can factor this trinomial into two binomials. So I'm going to think x to the 1/3, let me point out here, guys, isn't 1/3 plus 1/3 2/3? I'm sorry. When I multiply, I need to say that better. When I multiply, don't I add exponents, which therefore equals 2/3? Anybody have thoughts of the factors? You guys are pretty good at this. Probably can Gabby, thank you for putting your hand up. What do you have for the factors there, hun? I agree. Because -1 minus 6 is -7. And then we're going to set each of those factors equal to 0. So I get x to the 1/3 minus 6 equals 0, and x to the 1/3 minus 1 equals 0. And I will go through this real quick. I would add 6, so I have x raised to the 1/3 equals 6. Easton, x to the 1/3 is the same thing as the what x? No, I didn't ask for the answer. This is x to the 1/3 is equivalent to the same thing of what x? So this is in rational form. What's it in radical form, Easton? That's what I'm asking. The cube root of x. So what's the opposite of the cube root, guys? To what? To both sides. cube both sides, right? So now I have x equals, and what's 6 cubed? Is that what? I'm trying to do it in my head. Is that 2? Is that 216? No, it's not. Is it? Is it? Man, that was really bad math. I should really know 6 times 6 times 6, 216, right? And then over here on the right, that's just going to end up equaling what? X to the equals what? 1. Because 1 cubed is 1. You doing okay? Brooke.
I have a question about the first one. So since it was like x to the 4th at the beginning, is that how many answers you'll have still?
Yeah, that's how many potential answers you have. How many answers did we end up with in the first one? 4. Here, it's, even though it's 2/3, we don't get 2/3 of one answer. We have 2 answers. What?
Wouldn't it be x equals -1 because if you take -1 times -1 times -1.
Well, but it's x cubed equals 1.
Oh, you take gotcha. Yep.
It's okay. Other questions? I'm recording this lesson, so I have to be kinder than I normally am. I would have laughed at you before, but normally.
You have to edit that part out.
No, I don't think so, Maureen. I don't think I'm going to be that soft to you guys all the time. Sometimes you guys got to be yelled at, right? So you never get yelled at in your whole life, or all day, so somebody's got to hold you accountable. All right, here we go. So I'm going to rewrite that trinomial like that. I'm going to get rid of negative exponents. Now, guys, isn't 1 over x half of 1 over x squared? Isn't, what's 1 over x times 1 over x? 1 over x squared. You with me? So, and when I say half, I'm talking about the exponent. I'm going to do 1 over x and 1 over x. These are definitely not traditional quadratic equations that we're allowed to solve. Quadratic. Anybody have this one factored for me? Noe, you got this one factored for me, hun? What do you think? Yeah, this is like the go-to, always feel good about. -3 plus 2, I agree. So then let's make sure we can solve this. When I set 1 over x minus 3 equal to 0, I'm going to add 3. I'll go through the whole process with you. 1 over x equals 3. Look up here, guys. Now, algebraically, you would have to multiply both sides by x. I'm going to show you what it is algebraically. Don't write it. You would have to go multiply by x, multiply it by x, and then I would have 1 equals 3x. Right? Divide by 3, and we get x equals 1/3. Agree? Yep. So that's silly. Let's go to the one on the right now. When I have 1 over x equals -2, would you agree with that? Why don't we, look up here on the screen, why don't we just trade places and say x equals -1/2? That makes a lot more sense. I already showed you on the left. Over here on the left, I showed you algebra. See, look, if I just would have trade places right here, I would have been done. Have you guys had, I bet your middle school algebra teachers probably said, just trade places. Did they? When you did some cross multiplying maybe? No? What would you guys do? Would you guys actually multiply by x and do all that process? Well, here you go. Just trade places. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to hit pause on my video. There you go. Just say it again. All right. Continuing. So now, and I've done one like this for you before, so if we look up here on the screen, please. In the past, I would tell you to go off to the side and say u equals x plus 4. And see how you would have had u squared plus 2u minus 8, and you could factor. No more. I'm not going to show you that way. We're going to be big boys and big girls now. That we recognize this may factor into 2 binomials. And let's think about this. Look up on the screen, isn't x plus 4 times x plus 4 a quantity squared? So I'm going to write x plus 4, and I'm going to write x plus 4. And then you look at factors of 8, where your outer and inner add up to be positive 2 x plus 4s. So who thinks they know this? Michael?
Plus 4, -2.
Okay, he's right. Plus 4, -2. Now, let's make sure, because I know some of you may be going, what? Look up here. What's 4 of these minus 2 of these? And when I say these, I'm saying x plus 4s. 2 of these. And now you can simplify. Inside that bracket, x plus 4 is x plus 8. Inside our other bracket, x plus 4 minus 2 is x plus 2. And then we'd set each factor equal to 0, and we get x equals -8 and -2. Cool? Questions? Yes, 5-0.
So is U just like a replacement variable?
Yes, absolutely. So if I don't want you to write this, but let's go off to this side. Don't write this. This is what you did in the past. You would say U equals x plus 4. And then you guys immediately would substitute in this U for x plus 4, and you would rewrite this as U squared plus 2U minus 8, and that would factor into U plus 4, U minus 2. And then you replace back in and end up exactly with what we have right here. But I want us to get to the point where we're comfortable just recognizing that quantity. Is that sufficient? I think I have a conference today, guys, that somebody's supposed to be coming up to my room at 10 for me to attend, so hopefully we're done by then. Let's review this real quick. We've already solved these kind of problems, so the next 3 examples are review. So that's nice. Clear fractions. We're going to multiply everything by the common denominator, yes? So we're going to multiply everything by, what's the common denominator of x minus 1, x, and x times x minus 1? Anybody feel comfortable with it? Izzy, what's the common denominator of that? X times x minus 1. I agree. So I'm going to write that right here. I'm going to write on the right just because I have a little bit more space. X times x minus 1. And we're going to distribute that through. So let's see here. That would become what? 2x times, the x minus 1's cancel. So it'd be 2x times x, which is what, guys? 2x squared. Be careful with the negative. I'm going to write negative. Into my middle term here, Morning, what cancels here in the middle terms?
X minus 1. Or the X.
The x's cancel, so therefore I'm left with what?
The X
X plus, and so the x plus 2 times the x minus 1, very good, equals, and Allie, on the right-hand side here, on the right-hand side, the equal sign, what cancels?
All of the
So-
x minus 1.
So I'm left with just what on the right-hand side?
5.
5. Good. Now here's where people make, well, you guys, anybody, where's the mistake occur at? I see it over and over again, even from really good math students, which every one of you are. Go ahead, Maureen, what's the mistake?
The X plus 2, because it's not supposed to do anything.
Say it a little bit louder.
Is it not, is you're supposed to do quantity X minus 2?
Halfway right. Halfway. Ryan?
They don't like negative through.
Yeah, they mess up with that. So my recommendation is, with this one, I would just bring that negative down and I would go parentheses. And I would actually FOIL this binomial and have what? X squared, what is that? Plus 2x minus x, so plus x minus 2. And I think everybody was saying it correctly. They have to distribute the negative through. So now it becomes 2x squared minus x squared minus x plus 2 equals 5. Which then gives me, well, the 2x squared minus x squared gives me what? 1x squared minus x, subtract the 5 over, so minus 3 equals 0. And then I have all of you guys that are so bright, doubt yourselves, and go, did it wrong, because it doesn't factor. Quadratic formula. Right? So let's solve it using quadratic formula. Here we go. X equals, so what, negative, so let's sing it. Negative b, so x equals negative b. Well, I better not record that. B squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Let's see, I get 1 plus or minus square root of 13. Did I do it right?
Yes.
All over 2.
That's it.
I'm good with that. I'm so cool with that. We good? Questions? Okay, and then you know your fave, right? Here's your fave. Story problems. You know, I don't know. Somebody in my last class was making fun of me. So as we read this, together Karen and Doug Lewis, and I don't know why I gave the person a last name, because I was thinking there's no way I would give a person a last name. So I was thinking it was 3 people, and I was getting all upset because I couldn't find a third variable. So I'm going to do this. Karen and Doug can clean a strip of beach in 5 hours. You guys see that new workout that's like going crazy, where people like runners and people working out, like as they're running, they pick up trash. You guys, anybody seen that? You got to be kidding me. You guys haven't seen it? Okay, so the big viral thing is we're going to be environmentally friendly, which I'm all for. So we know that we have a plastic problem. So when people like say, I'm going on a 5-mile run, as they're running, they're picking up trash that they see during the run. So they're burning more calories because they're deviating from a straight path. They're bending over. And it's become a big thing. And like, or I'm going swimming, and so like, if you're near fresh water when it's warm, as they're swimming, if they see trash in the water, they gather the trash with a bag, and as they're swimming, so it just makes everything harder. I think it's kind of neat. So let's pretend we're going. Karen and Doug are doing that, working out on the beach. They're running on a beach. They're going to clean that strip of beach, and together when they do it, they can clean it in 5 hours. Alone, Karen can clean the strip 1 hour faster than Doug. Find the time that each person could clean the strip of the beach alone. Approximate answers to the nearest tenth. When I see nearest tenth, I'm thinking, maybe this isn't, if I get decimals, maybe this doesn't factor. Okay, or something a little funky. So I'm going to create a variable x, and I'm going to have x be the number of hours of who? It doesn't matter, but you need to define it. So let's go here with, hold on here. Shane, you want to be Karen or Doug? Okay, so the number of hours it takes Doug to clean the beach. Now, in respect to xn, what's the number of hours for Karen? It says Karen can clean the strip 1 hour faster than Doug. What's its variable, Austin?
X minus 1.
X minus 1. Nice job, because whatever it takes Doug, Karen's is going to be an hour faster, therefore 1 less hour. Okay? And remember how we do this? We say, well, it takes Doug, the job 1, divided by the number of hours, plus it takes Karen to do the job at a rate of X minus 1 hours, and together they can do the same job in 5 hours. Yes? All right. Okay, people. What's the LCD? Autumn, what's the LCD? 5 times x minus 1. 5 times x times what?
5x times x minus 1.
Perfect. 5x times x minus 1. 5 times x minus 1. All right? Okay, you guys work. See if you can solve it. I'm gonna solve it. We'll meet at the end and I'll tell you why my answer's right and yours may be wrong. How about that? Go ahead and get those answers for me. You should be getting 11 plus or minus square root of 101 divided by 2. Does anybody concur with me on that? Concur means agree. Just make sure we're such big vocab. All right. So, what's 11 plus square root of 101 be 21 point something divided by 2? What's that give me?
10.5.
10.5. Okay. And 11 minus the square root of 100. Make sure when you type it in your calculators, you're going 11 plus square root of 101, enter, divided by 2. 11 minus the square root of 101 divided by 2. What do you get, Austin, for that other one?
I had a question about it though, but I have no idea.
Why do you have you have negative 2 in the denominator. Isn't A
Yeah,
1?
because I added the x over and then subtracted the x squared.
That's what I did
So you had a negative x squared.
Yeah.
You should have a positive 11x. And you should have a negative 5.
Yep.
Okay. You're going to have a negative divided by a negative at the beginning. Your negative b out in front, you have a positive b. Look. Yours should be negative 11. Morning, you said you had that. You have a negative 11 out in front, so you're still good. What's the other answer? Point what? 0.5? Which doesn't make sense. Why? Why does 0.5 not make sense? Go ahead, Ms. Warner.
Together they can do it in 5 hours, so she can't do it in 0.5 by
Ye-
herself.
Yeah, I would even go one step further. If he's 0.5, doesn't 0.5 minus 1 negative a half an hour? Now, I know women claim how wonderful and awesome and better they are than men, which I would probably agree on many things, right? But I doubt she can go backwards in time to clean the beach, okay? So, it takes Doug 10 and a half hours and Karen 9 and a half by herself. We cool? All right, one more, and it's your fave. Oh, come on, guys. As many times we've done these. I'll help you out. Yeah, D equals RT. I'll help you out. Put it in respect to time. T equals distance over rate. Go. I'll let you guys all give it a shot. If you want to get up and go to the board,
Wait,
maybe that board would give you power.
question.
Well, question, yes.
So wait, why wouldn't it be you're finding the rate because you're finding the speed of it?
Oh, I agree. We are going to find the rate. But I'm going to put it in that form.
Okay.
I agree with that. You're absolutely right. Your unknown variable is x, which is a rate, right?
Yep.
I'm going to help you out. You want time. So X is, I love what Morning has there, speed to beach. And then I bet some of you have driven to the beach before. Dad's grumpy, the vacation's over. Shut up, kids, let's go. And he drives as fast as he can on the way home. So X plus 10 on the way home. Who knows what I'm talking about? Like pedal the metal, let's go. Right? Everybody's happy on the way down there. Oh, we can stop for lunch. Yes, you can stop and go potty on the way home. Shut up, hold it, here's a bottle. So 500 miles divided by speed plus 500 miles divided by speed equals total travel time of 18 1/3, which is that 55 thirds? Which now we're going to multiply everything by the LCD, which is 3 times X times X plus 10. And you're going to use probably the quadratic formula once you get that simplified.